Hello, this is Kate from Kate's Crafting Corner. It is a bit later than I wanted to have updated. It is the 10th of November and I am here with an update. I have Beth with me. Isn't she so cute? I'm going to try to put up a side-by-side picture here. So on the other side. And you'll see she looks so much like Lily when Lily was little. And so in that way, this little girl has won a place close by my heart. Isn't that right, Beth? Oh, you are such a good girl. Do you see yourself? Do you see yourself there? Beth. Oh gosh. She's not normally this quiet. Oh, there she goes. Moving. Okay, so you want to say bye-byes? Do I have someone else? No, that's Jamie. Meg. Come here, Meg. Maggie Meg. Okay, here is Meg. She's so cute. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Okay, she somehow figured how to take off her collar. I've put it back on her a couple of times and she's managed to get it off again. So she is currently the only one collar free. And we may have found her a home. Yes. With someone who is friends with someone who got a puppy from our last litter. And also their other dog is from the same litter as Georgie. So that would be really cool. You would be, yeah, you would be other near other doggies that are part of the Ballon Bunch. Yeah. She is such a sweet girl. She was the second puppy born, first girl. And she loves sleep, and lately she loves stuffed toys. Yes, you do. Okay, bye-bye, Meg. I just saw Teddy. Oh, man. They're playing tug of war over here with one of my old journals. Here we got Amy. Amy is our big girl. She was born last, but she weighs about half a pound more than the others. Yes, you do. And she is the youngest puppy we've ever had to have learned the stairs at like 4.5 weeks. She was going up and down. And she's just a very smart girl. And one day we woke up and she was in bed with us and we have no clue how she got up there. No clue. But there she was, nestled on the bed. So I think maybe the blankets were lower and she clawed her way up. Yeah, did you do that, Amy? Amy is such a good girl. She looks, okay, I'll try to put up a side-by-side too. She looks like a slightly darker version of Jamie when Jamie was this age. Jamie was really pale, like Meg, but their faces look a lot alike. And also, Jamie had more tear stains than you have, Amy. Yeah, but I love you. She also has the same neediness as Jamie, where she'll push all the other puppies out of the lap and climb right in. Josie, Teddy bear. Teddy bear, come here. Oh, yes. This is Teddy. Oh, he just looks like a little teddy bear. You look like a little bear. Yes, you do. I'll try to put up another side-by-side. I think he looks so much like Sammy. And I think Sammy is our cutest dog. So I think this boy is going to grow up to be so cute. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. He is the scaredest of the stairs. He and Meg were the last to learn him, and he still cries while climbing up. He's pretty okay now with going down, but climbing up, he cries. He wants to be carried up. But we have to learn these things, Teddy bear. Yes, we do. Yes. Oh, you were so cute. So far, Meg is the only one we have a potential home for, but we haven't advertised much or anything. And last but not least is Josie, who is the middle one. Yeah, you were born third. Hi, Josie. Oh, Josie is so sweet. She is a cuddler. Yes, you are. And she usually wraps her paws around you like that and holds on. Yes. And if you put her next to Meg, they look so much alike. So much alike. She's a bit darker than Meg, but other than that, they look so much alike. They're basically the same identical weight, and they are BFFs. They always sleep together. They play together. They are BFFs. And yeah, they're just so cute. Meg and Josie. Yeah. So that's the little puppies. They pulled out one of my old planners and are chewing on it. Luckily, it's the same planner that a previous litter pulled out and chewed on, so I'm not too concerned about it. Jamie, stop! Sorry. They hear noises outside, they bark. So anyways, I will probably put in a couple or a video clip or two at the end of the puppies, but they're all doing really good, and yeah, I'm so proud of them. Okay, so I meant to come back last week, but I was really sick. I've still got the end tail of it. But, yeah, I was basically sleeping 12 plus hours a day. I barely left the house. I mean, I didn't even go to church or the young woman activities or anything like that. I was sick. And sleeping. Like the NyQuil, I took NyQuil at night, but it super knocked me out. So yeah, so I didn't come back. And then I was gonna try to come on Monday, because I wanted to come the day before the elections. I've probably mentioned it before, but my husband was running for school board. Let me just say, California is so frustrating sometimes. So he's running for school board. We're at an election watch party on Tuesday night. And right now, our county has not updated since midnight of election night, like 12:15 a.m. And it's now Thursday night. And apparently they're not going to do an update until Friday, 4 p.m. But it's like they only released 16.7% of the ballot. So less than 17% of the ballot results has been released. And so we're in like limbo over here. Right now, my husband is in second place. There are 3 spots open, so we're completely comfortable with second place. He has about 150 over third place, and third and fourth place are pretty close. And then the person in first place has about 150 more than him. So I don't know that we're going to get first place, which is fine because there's 3 seats open, as long as we don't get last place. So we're cautiously optimistic that my husband will make it onto the school board, which would be super awesome for him. It's his dream. So I'm supporting him on his dream, but I hope he makes it because, you know, he spent a lot of time campaigning. He spent a lot of time campaigning, and he, even before the campaigning began and stuff like that, he's been attending school board meetings. He'll be one of the people who speaks about stuff. He'll do outside research and mail the school boards about things and things like that. He's really passionate about it, and he really wants it, and I do believe that he would make an excellent school board member. So, and that's not just me being biased because I'm his wife. I mean, there's probably some of that, but I'm just really proud of him, and we would like some answers. We'd like to know, did he make it? And the fact that there hasn't been a single update in about 48 hours is ridiculous. I mean, it's super ridiculous. There should be continual updates all along. It shouldn't be like, oh, hey, here's 17% and we'll get you the other 83% in 56 hours. There should be continual updates. I'm sorry. that's my opinion. This is how you sow the seeds of people not believing results or things like that. I know that's super controversial to say, blah, 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 whatever. It's just frustrating. I believe there should be a law that you keep counting until all the ballots have been counted. If you have to have multiple shifts of people so that, you know, when a 6 to 8 hour shift is done, there's a new batch that comes on and they keep counting, and there should be on the hour updates until they're all out there. There shouldn't be something hanging over our head. If other states can get the election results out the same day, like within hours, why can't California do it? This school district spans two districts in 2 counties. So we have to take results from both districts. And right now they're sitting at about, I don't know if Sacramento County has updated since the 17%. I think Placer County is at 44% or 38%, 38 or 44. But I know Placer hasn't updated the school board results since election night. They might have done a 3 a.m. update on election night, but my husband's been sitting at the same number since I posted on my Facebook wall at 1 a.m. on election night. And that is ridiculous. This is Thursday night. So for those of you not in America, we vote on Tuesday. So it's now Thursday and it's still only showing 17% of the results. And I am very frustrated by this. It's ridiculous. But anyways, sorry. I try not to get into politics on my channel. I hope I didn't say anything too controversial or anything like that. I don't want to offend any subscribers and lose subscribers. So let's get into crafting. So, like I said, I was sleeping about 12 hours a day. And then, one of the amazing things about my husband is when he's sick, when I'm sick, he was also a little bit sick, but when I'm sick, he doesn't expect a lot from me, which is nice. So he'll like go out and bring takeaway in for dinner and stuff like that. And, yeah, he doesn't just usually say anything about like, you haven't vacuumed in 2 weeks or things like that. He doesn't make comments like that a ton anyways, but he really doesn't make comments like that. He lets me stay up here in the craft room and or he'll even tell me like, you should go rest. Yeah, because one day I was trying to make dinner or something like that. I think I was just warming up cans of soup or something like that. And he's like, baby, you don't need to make me tea and soup. You're sick. Go back upstairs and rest. And I was like, well, the water was already boiled because I was making my own tea. So that's really nice. One night he drove like 45 minutes to go get me my favorite wonton soup. That's in like far a whiles away. He says it's overpriced, but it's delicious. They use a garlic based broth and it's just so yummy. And he says it's overpriced. It's not as good as the place that's literally down the street, but I don't like that place. And so he drove out to get me wonton soup, and I just really appreciate that. He went to this store many times to get me more medicine. And a couple times I was like, we ran out of dog food, and I was like, I'll just run up to Petco, which is literally like 2 minutes away, and get a bag of food. And he was like, no, I'll go get it, even though he was supposed to be doing a work project. And so, yeah, I really appreciate that about him. But so, because I was either sleeping or up here, I managed to get quite a few cross-stitch finishes. I think, 1, 2, wait, why am I only looking at 2? 3. Okay, here. Okay, I have 4 finishes, but I cannot show one of them because it was the finish for my ornament exchange, but I haven't FFO'd it and I haven't mailed it yet. I need to do both of those, which I will. I need to do that this week, actually. That's the top priority. Oh, wait, today's Thursday. I really wanted to get it out on Friday. I don't know. Maybe I'll try to do that after I'm done with this. Anyways, so I have finishes, and I've done probably close to 6,000 stitches since I talked to you guys last. I've gotten barely any crochet and knitting done at all. I do, however, have a lot of knitting and crochet stash enhancements to share, as well as Advent updates. So we're going to start with the cross stitches, first the finishes, then the whips. Then I think I'm going to show the stash, because after that I'll talk about whips and advents, and those kind of go together. So yeah, so I think that's how I'm going to do it. I'll put timestamps down in the description, and 16 minutes of rambling, but here, let's go. So one of the first finishes I had was Autumn Seasonal Celebrations from Country Cottage Needleworks. I only did the top part. I didn't do the words. And here we have it. And I love it so much. It is so cute. Yeah. I have the piece of fabric I got was big enough to do the whole thing. So I have a bottom part that's left that'll let me do like a little ornament on it. I need to set up a scrap fabric bin because I keep not being able to find scrap fabric to do little ornaments on. So I know I used to have one back when I lived in my apartment, but when I moved here and I got the craft room, I in many ways expanded, but also my organization changed. And now I don't know where some things are. So the next finish I have was Gloria. Hang on. Okay, sorry. They were being completely obnoxious and barking. And so I've now brought them all in here with me, and they are locked in. So you might hear some grumbling, as Georgie does not like when his space is invaded. But they're now not barking at the door. Because if someone just walks by, and it's the time of day here where people are taking evening walks, they just start barking, and barking is so frustrating. But anyways, okay, Gloria from Mill Hill. And here she is. This is for my mom and dad. So I'll need to start sometime soon, the next in the Nativity Mill Hill series. But yeah, it's not showing quite how sparkly she is. Look at all those beads. I don't do anything on the back because, I mean, I'm okay with how that looks, and it's just going to my parents, so, yeah. I am still doing 2 starts for 1 finish. Oh, I've had 5 finishes. I've had 5 finishes. 2 of the finishes bought me Knock It Off, the start for the ornament exchange. So I am 1 finish away from having 2 starts on the 1st of December, which I'm super excited about. Because that will be the first of the, well, it will be my Advent project. And then it will also be my Advent cross stitch project. George, knock it off, bud. But it will also be the frosted pumpkins snow globes. I am hoping to finish a couple more this month, so that's what I'm basically focusing on in cross stitch, is trying to finish up projects. So I'm actually really quite proud of my dedication and focus. I crossed over that 200 whip point. I'm now down to 196 the last time I looked at my spreadsheet. So I've whipped down already, and I hope to keep on getting down. So the next one is Big Bang Theory. I did make one change from how it was charted, and that had Raj and Amy in opposite positions. So it had Amy at the end and Raj next to Sheldon. However, this had every other couple next to each other. So I switched them up so that, I mean, you got Bernadette and Howard. You've got Penny and, I forgot his name. He's my least favorite character. Leonard. Yeah, he just complains all the time. He's my least favorite. Sheldon and Amy, and then Raj. So I'm happy with that. I do have 2 other starts on this fabric. Yes, I have literally 1 stitch for each of those starts. However, they were already in my whip count. I had put these stitches in at the end of July because in one of the cross stitch groups I'm in, they're doing like a finishes challenge. I'm trying to finish 24 whips in the year for that challenge. However, for it to be counted, you have to have had at least 1 stitch on the project. For it to count towards the finishes. So I had put both of those in and put them in the whip tracker. So they were already counted in that 200 list. They're not ones I needed to buy with finishes. However, I am hoping to do these 2 either at the rest of this month or into the beginning of next month, because I'm hoping to turn these into Christmas presents. So we'll see how that goes, but that is my hope. The next finish I had, okay, so when I did this one, all I had left was these 2 characters to do. So that's all that needed to be finished there. With the Mill Hill, I had most of the beads to do, so I finished the beading, cut it out. So that was, and there's some back stitch in there, so that's what I did with that one. On the cottage, on the autumn one, I had already done the banner, and that I think I did, and I think either most or all of the house. So I did the trees, the hill, the pumpkins, and maybe the bird. I don't remember. So the next one I did was the 2013 Prairie Schooler Santa. So I had been trying to do one of these a year for my husband when we first started dating. So I already had done one and finished it into a little pillow. It is with our Christmas decoration, so I don't have it to show you. The next one I did was this one, which I have not FFO'd. I don't think I actually finished this in 2018, but it was intended to be for the 2018 year. So I dated it as 2018. I still have to FFO this one. I have here a good size piece of fabric that I'm intending to use for all of these Santas. It's what I used for the first one, so it's what I'll use for this next one. And so that brings us to the one I just finished, which is this one. So I had done the red jacket, the background of this one, and I'd started the compass and this clock. I hadn't finished them, but I'd started them. So I finished Santa's head, all the back stitching, and this one. And that's what I did for this one. I did end up just dating it 2022 because I decided backdating them was just kind of dumb at this point. I'm so far behind. This should have been 2019's, but whatever. So the next thing, well, I want to get more of them. Those were the only two I had. However, I had gotten this Prairie Schooler Santas, and my intention had been to do one a year for the years we married. So we celebrated our 3rd anniversary. So is this going to be our 4th Christmas since? Okay, so 2019, 2020, 2021. So yeah, this will be our 4th Christmas since we've been married. And I haven't done any of these. I need to buy the next pamphlet, and probably the other one, because I might as well just have all 12. I am stitching the Santas on this. It's hard to tell, but it is a sparkly fabric. I think it's called like Stardust 14 count. Here I have it. So I have one more piece cut. So that's why I want to get another knot in the 12 Days of Christmas Santa and just use it for that. And then get 3 more packages of this and cut it out for the 12 Days of... Just so I'm sure that I have the same fabric for all of the Santas. But anyway, so this is a Charles Craft Stardust Ada. It's gold dusted. And I just got this at like Joann's or something. I've not had a 1, 2, 3 stitch order maybe 2 years. I don't know. It's been a while. So I am overdue for an order just so I can stock up on some of the things. Like, I mean, get a couple more of these pamphlets. I have a few projects I don't have enough of the fancy threads for, and so I need to order some of those. So yeah. Okay, so that's 4 finishes. I do have a 5th one, which is the Nativity. However, I will share that or take a video clip, and I'm hoping I get it mailed out and can maybe include that in the next update video. Which brings us to, I have 3 whips to share. The first one, and one I kind of hoped to finish, but then I just didn't work enough on it to even get it near to a place where I'm going to even try to finish it this month. And that is Miranda from Mill Hill. It's a Hocus Pocus trilogy. I'm making these for my aunt. I think I'm going to finish them as little pillows like my husband's Santa's. So I'm stitching it on 14 count black Ada. I do own all 3 of the Mill Hill kits. Hey, George, knock it off. Georgie. I mean, literally one of the little puppies is just trying to lay next to him, and that's what he's freaking out about. It's so ridiculous. Anyways, so I'm using all of the floss, and I'll be using the beads that came with it. However, I'm stitching it on black fabric because for my aunt, she just would prefer this kind of decoration. I mean, she doesn't know where she would hang these. She's probably going to leave them out all year, I think is what she told me. I haven't actually talked to her about this in like a couple of years, so she may have forgotten I was even making these, but I have all 3. I have the Ada cut out for all 3 to ensure that they'll all be on the same fabric. For whatever reason, when I'm stitching this, I am actually stitching this project in hand, which is, I don't stitch many projects in hand, but I've been enjoying doing this one in hand. Maybe not when I get to the beads, but yeah. And for the most part, I don't mind stitching on black fabric. I usually just use my OttLite, and I don't usually need to put anything on my lap or below. I can see it just fine. Little baby. Hey, babies. They're crying at the door. Now that they've learned how to do the stairs, they don't like to be confined anymore. My next WIP, I'm super close to a finish. I had hoped to finish it, but I just wasn't focusing enough. So I'm probably like 300 stitches away from a finish. Maybe I'll get it done tonight. And that is November Cottage in the Cottage of the Month series. And here is where I am at. So when I started working on this, I only had this part of the house done. So I started with finishing the roof, then I did the trees, the acorns, the turkey, the grass below, and now I'm working on the borders. And once I finish the borders, it's done. So maybe I can get this done tonight. That would be fantastic because that would bring me to 4 finishes, so 2 WIPs to buy. I am hoping to buy enough WIPs to do the Advent and all 4 of the snow globes, and to have a new year, new start. No. So I'm not going to have bought all those WIPs. Rosie Posey, knock it off. Our neighbor's dogs are outside. They don't like that. So, yeah, I'm getting close to another finish. I may try to continue on with other cottages in that series. This would be my 7th finish, which would leave 5. So June, July, August, September, and December. I have October and soon to be November done, and then January through May. So, yeah, if I could knock out that series this year, I would be so happy. They're all in various stages of starting. December has the least amount done on it, but we'll worry about that in December. The final one I have to share is my Halloween rules. I did not get as much done on this as I wanted this month. I mean, I did get a lot done in the month. However, when I put it to the side, it kind of just stopped being worked on. So when I picked it up in October, I was here on Stay Up Late. So I finished that. I did all of this one, and I'm working on this one. That's Sit for a Spell. And so I finished the outline and the words. Now it's just, the spiders, the broom, and the cat, which shouldn't be that hard to do. However, because it's November, I've kind of lost my motivation on it. So I might put this away and maybe put a fancy lady on my stand for a little while or something like that. I'll probably put a Christmas WIP I want to focus on when it comes to December, but yeah, so here's where I'm at. And I'm pretty pleased with that. Okay, now let's go to stash, because that will then lead to Advents. So, okay. First I'll talk about the non-stash additions. My husband and I always do our taxes in October. You can file an extension in April and push it out for another 6 months, which is what he's always done. I've always filed in April, but since getting married, he files in October, so that's just what we've done. And as long as you don't owe money to the IRS, filing an extension doesn't really cost you anything. There's no penalty associated, because if you're just getting a refund back, the government's like, oh, woohoo, we get to hold on to your money a little bit longer. And so we filed in October, and we got back a bit bigger of a return than we had been expecting, most of which is going to bills and stuff like that. I mean, inflation is ridiculous, and it's going to bills, some Christmas present stuff, just that kind of thing. However, my husband did spoil me a little bit, and this was already in the plans, regardless of the refund, was to upgrade my phone. I could have upgraded my phone a year ago, but we just didn't because we're procrastinators. My husband should have upgraded his phone 2 years ago, and it is having major lagging problems. And so when the iPhone released their new iPhone in September, I told my husband I wanted that, and we'd already talked about me just getting the next iPhone when it was released. And so at the end of October, I ordered, and it is supposed to arrive tomorrow. So this is probably the last recording on my iPhone. I do all my recordings on my phone, and I do all the editing on my phone. So because of that, we did decide to go big this time, and I got the 14 Max Pro with 1 terabyte of storage, because I have terrible storage issues when trying to export my video after editing it. I know there's plenty of space because I have used less than half of my storage. So when you're exporting a single video, it shouldn't be taking more than over half of your storage amount, which, I mean, I have 256. I think I'm only using 88 gigabytes or something ridiculously not big. So it shouldn't have an export error, but it does every time. And so we decided to just go fully big. And so I'm hoping that there will be a nice increase in quality. I found an app that you put one app on your phone and one app on your iPad, and you can then film and monitor it on the iPad. So I'll be able to use the superior back cameras and see that everything's in frame and everything like that. So I'm super, super, super excited about that. Like, really, I'm so excited. And that comes tomorrow. And so I'll be playing with that. So I wanted to get this filmed and updated. But the way my husband really spoiled me was he got me an early Christmas present, and that is the Baby Lock Allegro, which is probably a mid-ranged sewing machine. It's not the high end, but it is nicer than an intro machine. It's definitely an upgrade from my current one, and I am so excited. That came in the mail on Tuesday, and I have not used it yet. I've taken it out of the box, but this is going to require some extensive craft room reorganization. My husband found someone was giving away a free table, just like a table, like nothing special about it. I mean, it's got some scuffs on it and everything, but it was free. So it's a 42 by 42 inch. So I have measured things in this room, and I have figured out that if I move the TV stand that used to be in front of me, but then I moved it to below the window, if I move that into the closet, that I can then move my sewing table to below the window and fit in this 42 by 42 inch table. I will have basically maxed out all of the room in this room, and I'm not 100% that it will work out, but this is going to require a massive amount of cleaning, taking things out of the room, moving things around, and then bringing things back into the room. And so that is going to be a major project that I start to work on soon. The puppies are 7 weeks old tomorrow. They get their shots and can start leaving at 8 weeks. So I'm not sure if I want to do this before I rehome them all. Just because they're little and are going to get in the way. But at the same time, I want to take my sewing machine and be able to use it for Christmas related stuff. And also, I don't want to be reorganizing my room during Vlogmas where I want to be like knitting all the things and crafting all the things. So I'm just trying to figure out what will be best. Maybe I'll just end up moving the table, moving that, and doing the beginnings and worry about the 42-inch table afterwards. I don't know. That is yet to be determined on what I do. But, so that is like the biggest, like holly thing, I guess. I'd love to make some Christmas bags and things like that. I've just been having so much trouble with my previous sewing machine that I haven't been motivated to sew at all. I've been wanting to make project bags, but I'm so frustrated by the machine that I haven't made them. I've had a lot of bags cut out and ready to just be sewn for like 2 or 3 years now. And it's finally time to get that going. So, fingers crossed I can get that all started. But yeah, so those are the big stash and how everything's gonna be affected kind of thing. My husband's at the office today. I had wanted to work on that while he was gone, but I was so tired I ended up sleeping most of the time. It's like almost 10 o'clock. Jeez Louise. We are not morning people in this house. Anyway, so let's finish with the stash, talk about Advent. But yeah, those are the big updates. So yeah. Okay, someone was doing this D-stash off of Etsy. And not Etsy, sorry, Ravelry. And this is a mustache yarn. And this is called Hogwarts. And so it has each of the houses, the 2 colors associated with it. And it's supposed to be for socks, actually. This is called a perfect self-striping sock must-match skein. So there's actually 2 50-gram skeins in here, and it's supposed to be able to make identical socks. However, on the stash pages, I saw someone, hang on, my husband's calling. Sorry, that was my husband. He's picking up dinner. So I need to wrap this up. He's on the way home. We're having tacos, so super excited about that. Anyways, so I saw on someone's page that they made this. They used the yarn to make a scarf, and I thought that looked so cool, better than the socks I saw. So that was why I bought it. I had hoped it wasn't going to be 2 different skeins, and that would just be 1 skein, but when I got it, I looked at it, and it is 2 skeins wrapped together. So that's fine. It's not a project I'm going to start now, but part of my reorganization project is to deal with this. I think I'm going to take that cubby that has all of my little favorites by Rhea crochet projects. I'm going to try to move that into this set of shelves, which is where my whips are. This is the only whipped cubby for knitting and crochet that's in this 4x4 cube. So I'm going to try to take over this cube right here and use it for self-striping yarns, which should be able to bring a little space into some of those cubes. So there's some yarn reorganization that I'm going to try to accomplish. Sorry. So that's one stash update. I got the next club in the Okay, I tried not to talk to that because I might try to cut it out during editing. But anyways, I got the next club in the Hobbit There and Back Again club. I have confirmed I don't like this base. And so for the next month that I just ordered, I changed bases. And so hopefully that will be better. This is just, I don't know. For one thing, I think this base has a smell. And that might be the Cordell wool. But also it's a little rough and a little bulky, I think. Anyways, everyone likes different kind of yarns, and this is just a personal preference. It's not anything against the dyer. Anyways, so this one is called Struck by Lightning. It came with this sticker. So I will be putting that on my journals. It says about the colorway, poor Bilbo couldn't bear it any longer. At May, I think maybe there's a typo. It may never return. He began to feel a shriek coming up inside, and very soon it burst out like the whistle of an engine coming out of a tunnel. All the dwarves sprang up, knocking over the table. Gandalf struck a blue light at the end of his magic staff, and in its firework glare, the poor little hobbit could be seen kneeling on the hearth rug, shaking like a jelly that was melting. Then he fell flat on the floor and kept on calling out, struck by lightning, over and over again. And that was all they could get out of him for a long time. That's The Hobbit, Chapter 1, An Unexpected Party. This colorway is what we imagined a startled and frightened Bilbo must have imagined when Gandalf's blue light lit up the dark of his hobbit hole. Struck by lightning, indeed. So, this colorway doesn't speak to me, personally. I think maybe when wound, it will look better. But I'm not a fan of this, what I call highlighter yellow situation. I complained about it in several of the Gilmore Girl clubs, and here it is again. However, when knit in smaller rounds like a sock, I think these will come across as just like 3 or 4, maybe 5 stitches at a time. So just little show ups. And that could look really cool. So I do like the blue in it. So we'll see. We'll see. But, however, I do think it really does capture what they were trying to capture. The blue, the bright light of the staff, struck by lightning. So, I do think it's a good representation, just not my favorite color. And that is, again, fine. It's a mystery club. And it really is following along the path of this adventure. Unfortunately, I have not seen anyone trying to destash the first month, or that I think there's 2 months I was not aware of this club, and I would love to get my hands on them. So I keep searching destash and have yet to see it being destashed. So that's sad, but maybe one day I will be able to find it, because that first one is super beautiful. And sometimes they re-release these clubs later on, not as a club, but as you can buy a one-off. And so I'm also kind of hoping for that. I got the next month in the self-striping Harry Potter club. This is Spells and Things. And it's from Freckled Whimsy, year 3. And this one is called Dumbledore's Socks. And that's what it looks like. And I think this would make a great sock for my husband. I think it's a lot more masculine looking than a vast majority of my stash, which is in part why he hasn't really gotten socks from me, is because everything just looks so feminine. I have a lot of pinks and purples. Like soft pinks, not like bright pinks. But I do like nice soft pink kind of colors for like knitting and stuff. I think it's delicate and feminine looking, and I really like that. I don't wear a lot of pink. Green's my favorite color, and I tend to go towards more green type of clothes if I can. But you can't find a lot of nice green yarn, is my experience with hand-dyed greens. I haven't found a lot of nice ones. So this, I think, is nicely masculine looking. So it's a 6-color stripe repeat. So I'm guessing this lighter tan that we're seeing a lot of. There's a green, like a moss green, a light blue, like a sky blue, a charcoal. That's 4 colors. I think there's another brown. Anyways, so there's 6 colors in here, and I think that this would make a really nice sock for him. So I think I'm just gonna do a vanilla sock with the contrast and maybe try to work on that for a Christmas present. Probably won't finish it in time, but yeah. So I'm really pleased with this one. I like these little bags that she sends them in. It just keeps it nice and protected. So yeah. Anyways, so very pleased with that. I am in the auto renew for that club, so I'm already signed up for the next one. Now we're headed more towards Advent stash. So I don't have them here to share, but I have received 2 of my 3 yarn advents this past week. I got I'm going to put in pictures, the Lord of the Rings one. I will admit to have sneaky peeked at 3 random colors. I just chose random ones, not like the first, second, and third, just random ones. And the reason I did this is because most of the yarn she sells related to Lord of the Rings is tonal. So like basically solid colors. And for picking a pattern, I wanted to know if they were going to be tonal, because that would affect my fabric choice or my pattern choice. And what I did learn is that one was a tonal color. The other 2 were variegated, but gently variegated, not like in your face variegated, which was really, really good to know because it did help me pick out a pattern. So I didn't open more than that. And I do think that this is a very beautifully put together package. I like the coloring. It's not like a Christmas coloring of the packaging, but it's very nice. And so I'm looking forward to opening these up and being surprised. I honestly don't even remember what the colors that I did look at, the 3 that I looked at, look like anymore. It's complete mystery. I am blessed and cursed with the ability to not really retain a lot of information when it comes to these kind of things. Like, I have a pretty good memory for life events that I've experienced, but I forget book plots almost immediately. So I'm able to reread things. I'm rereading a cozy mystery series that I have definitely read most of these books at least once, if not twice. And I have no clue every time. I honestly am not remembering murderers at all. And so, yeah, been very blessed that way in my life. So, I've put all of my planned Christmas whips in this binder so I can quickly pull the pattern out as I'm working on it. And so the pattern that I chose for this one is called the Radvent Throw by Amba O'Brien. My printer ran out of color ink by that page. But But that's okay. I don't need to. I think it's only the first page that I ran out of coloring stuff. But anyways. So one of the knitting things that I did do this week was I pulled a mini skein out of my stash, and I wanted to do the pattern so that one, I wanted to see if I could do it all, the whole thing in magic loop, because the pattern calls for DPNs and I hate DPNs, and it also calls for 2 circular needles. And so I was really hoping I could get away with just one magic loop, a longer cord, and I'm happy to say I did quite successfully. And the other thing is, looking at the pattern, it seemed complicated, so I wanted to do one block of it and like figure out things. And I'm really glad I did, because I learned it wasn't as complicated as I expected. I also wanted to time myself to figure out, hey, knock it off, please, to figure out how long I can expect it to take me. It took me 5 hours. However, I will say this. I was extremely distracted during that. I literally didn't knit at all during half of that. I mean, during 30 minutes of that time, as I was watching a YouTube video instead of knitting. And then I spent time picking out different videos to watch. And I am planning on listening to audiobooks while doing this instead, so I'm hoping that that number will come down. I am still expecting it to take about 4 hours though. And so this is what it looked like. And it's not showing up as nice as I would like it to show up, because I also wanted to measure how big it would be. And so I put this on the side with the measurements. And so what you're seeing is a lot of that. Oh, here, that shows it pretty nicely. Isn't that nice? So I'm really, really happy with this, and I'm really excited to be working on these. And it was not as hard as I expected. I thought I would have to reference the pattern the whole time. And I did look at it at the beginning of every round. But once you get into the rhythm of how the increases are happening, it's very intuitive. And so I think that 1, I'll also become faster. 2, there were several rows I had to tink back. I had to go backwards to fix stupid mistakes. And part of that is this was my first one. And so I'm hoping future ones will go faster, not only because I'm hoping to not be as distracted while doing it, but also to will be more familiar with the pattern. This is all that was left over of the mini skein, so it's not going to have enough to make any other kind. I'll put it in my little scrap bin, but it's not going to be enough to make memory squares or anything like that. And that is in some ways honestly kind of a relief, because sometimes I just put all this pressure on myself to make these other mini projects. And so I'll put this in my scrap bin, and it'll just be there for honestly really scrappy things, like a completely scrappy blanket that has no pre-planning at all in it. Anyways, so yeah, I'm really happy with that. I wanted to show you guys it. I didn't finish it off. Like, I did do the whole bind off and everything, because I wanted to know how long that was going to take and how much yarn would actually be left over. I wanted to know if I needed to maybe go down a needle size if it was not going to be enough yarn. And I wanted to figure out all those things before Advent started, because I really want to be able to dive into my projects and make progress on them this year, and not be like every other year of Advent where I do about 2 colors and then that's it. And then they sit in like whip land forever. So I'm hoping to buck that this year. Yeah, I'm really, really happy with this project. Really happy with selecting it. And, oh, so yeah, that's what I was going to say. I'm still trying to decide, I think I'm going to I was just gonna, after sharing this with you guys, just immediately rip it back and put it back in my stash. However, I think I'm gonna wait and see if I want to do, because so it would make a 4x6 blanket. That's 24 squares, right? And this measures, I managed to stretch it out to 10 inches, actually. I thought I was only going to be able to do 9 or possibly even 8 when I had originally, so that was also part of the experiment, was blocking it to figure out the size and everything. So this is 10. So 10 by 4 would be a 40 inches, which is a pretty decent size for a cross for a lap blanket. And then 6 down would be 60 inches. And so that might be big enough. But if I decided I would instead rather have a 5 by 5, I would need another square. And so this would give me another square if it fits in with the other colors. So I'm not decided yet. A 5 by 5 would be 50 by 50 inches. So I'm going to make all the squares, and I'm hoping to block each square each day as I finish it, so that I'm not having to block like 24 squares at once. I don't have enough blockers for that. But if I can do like 1 or 2 at a time, it'll be a lot better. So yeah. So this is the Rad Vent Throw from Amba O'Brien. The next one I am going to practice, and this is not going to be a one-shot practice, is with the Lord of the Rings Advent, I'm going to make this Rad Vent. It's from Amba O'Brien. It was her Advent pattern from last year. And so I have a mini skein that already has been balled up. I'm not going to include that in the timing. And it's not from the same dyer. I don't know if it's the same base, because the Lord of the Rings Advent is from a dyer I've never gotten yarn from before. But so yeah, so I wasn't able to do that like comparison. The main thing that I'm needing to see with this is to test the needles. The needles called for in this pattern is DPNs and then 2 sets of circulars. But I think I read someone's pattern notes and they just used one 40-inch circular. So I am hoping that this is going to work, but that's one of the reasons why I need to experiment and try this. It's also got a cast on I've never done before and just various things like that. So I need to do a practice one for that. I am going to time it, but it's not going to be in one sitting, so I'll have to keep the timer like pause and start. And then hopefully as I make more of them during Advent, that this will go faster. So that's where we're at right now, and I will come back with you. Maybe I'll have it ready for tomorrow's vlog. We'll see. Blog. No, just video. Anyways, so that's the end of this, and I will talk more with you guys later. I'm not going to time lapse this one. The next Advent that I got was my Harry Potter one, and look at this packaging. I mean, it is like the most Christmassy box I've ever received of Advents. And you guys know I've done quite a few Advents, yarn Advents. And she threw in a ton of little peppermint candies. And so even the box smells like Christmas. It smells like peppermint candy Christmas. It's amazing. I am seriously so excited. She sealed up each of those little packages in such a way that I can't sneaky peek and not make it obvious that I'd done that. So I put it away and I have not looked at a single color. Okay, no. Small amendment to that is that I did look at the full size skein, maybe. I was looking at the extra that came in that package because I could tell it was a mug. And so I wanted to see if it was a Christmas mug that then I could use throughout the Christmas season while working on this project. It was not a Christmas mug, so I put it back. If I saw the full size skein, which I'm not sure if I did, I have completely forgotten. I have no clue what it looks like. I did message her, the dyer, and I have been buying from her Harry Potter clubs 4 years now. Maybe 5. I mean, long-term. And we've chatted back and forth a few times. And so I said, I don't want to peak, and I normally peak, and I'm trying to be good this year. But I need to know, for picking a pattern, are these mainly variegated? Is there a color scheme? Like, is it a gradient, like a fade, or are they all just completely random? And she did tell me it was highly variegated and completely random. So what I decided to do for this one is just a scrappy granny square. This is a free pattern put out by Nitty Natty, 11 Stitches. And she just uses 10 grams to make hers. I wanted to use the full 20 gram skein. So what I did was I took a 20 gram mini that I have from the same dyer in the same base, because I wanted to know how far could I go, so that I just had all the information. I also wanted to time myself, and I timed myself from, hey, stop it, from starting point. So including the time it took me to wind, which took me like 10 to 20 minutes because I made a knot and it took me a while to unwind that. So I'm hoping that will subtract from the amount of time it takes me. But I ended up being able to do, and also I had to rip back a whole section I did because there wasn't enough to finish the round, which was all part of what I was trying to figure out. So I 12 rounds, and when I just measured it on my desk, it was 8 by 8, but when I put it on the blocking mat, I managed to get it to 9 inches. I'm not entirely sure I love how much more gap that shows. So part of me is debating bringing it back in another inch and letting it be a little bit more clustered. But at the same time, that means that my blanket is going to be significantly smaller because, like, I mean, with the other mini skein, it comes out, like with this other project, it comes out to 10 inches, and that will make a bigger blanket. And it's using the same amount of yarn. And so I think I need to stretch it out to the 9 inches. I could get it to the 10 inches, but it was way too gappy. So I took it into 9. So, I timed myself. It took 1 hour and 45 minutes. I think that with not having to rip out and hopefully not make knots when I am winding it, I might just end up using my winder, because I did hand do it into a ball, but I might just end up using my Swift and my winder, and that is way faster, like seriously a minute or two, because I will be trying to like one and done it and not like, anyways. So I also was trying to see if there was enough to make a little Battenberg square, and unfortunately I am literally 7 stitches short of being able to make this Battenberg square, which then led me to wonder, should I go down a needle size and make this just a tiny bit smaller. I am debating taking another mini and trying that out. So I used a 3.25 millimeter hook. Oh, also I have a video to insert here of me talking about this because I did do a time lapse of crocheting this and everything. And so I'll insert that. Anyways, I was also trying to decide between these two needles. This has been my go-to needle for the last couple of years. However, it's hard to tell, but the brand puts their name here in like raised text. And as I'm crocheting, it rubs me really a lot here and becomes not nice feeling at all. However, this one has like a bit smaller of a shaft here, and this is less grabby than this one, and so I had to like kept redoing stitches. So this one slowed me down a bit. It's supposed to be a bit more ergonomic. So I was trying to decide between these two needles and I'm still not decided. So who knows? But the Battenberg squares I do with a, so these were both 3.25 millimeter. The Battenberg squares I make with a 3 millimeter, which is just one size down. And this is my Harry Potter wand one. Ooh. And so I might try to do this over again in another mini, same base, and see if I possibly can still keep it stretched out to 9 inches because I don't want to lose space. I don't want to lose size. And if so, that might create just enough to finish these last 7 stitches. Or maybe even if I just do the last round in 3 millimeter, that will create enough yarn to do this. I don't know. And then also I don't know if maybe I just don't even want to bother with worrying about having a mini to do a Battenberg square. So I'm still trying to make some decisions on that. I still have like 3 weeks to make my decision. But so yeah, so this is the granny square that I did. And the reason I decided to use this particular one is because I do have a plan for this mini skein anyways to use as like the heels in a pair of socks that I'm planning on making for my husband. So it was going to be used anyways. It's not really showing up, but it is like there is some modeling in it. It's nice. Anyways, so those are the 2 that I have received. Hey guys, so it is Sunday, November 6th. Anyways, and I didn't come with a video this week because I've been sick, and I'm hoping to film tomorrow. So if so, I'm going to stick this in there. But as you will have seen in the video, I've been on like a somewhat of a finishing spree for cross stitch, and I haven't touched any knitting or crochet or anything in like, I don't know, like almost 2 weeks, I think. Sorry. And so what I've kind of wanted to do is I have 2 Advent projects for crochet and knitting that I want to test out to see, one, the pattern construction, like to do like a run through to make sure the first time I do it I'm not just like confused and everything, and then and to make sure my needles are right and that that the mini skeins are large enough and all that kind of stuff. And the other thing I want to do is test and see how long it will take me to do each project, so I can kind of time out my days. And I mean, I know it's not realistic for me to get done as much as I always want to get done for these Advent stuff. But, you know, I love to dream big, and then when I fail, I don't really care. I mean, it was an experiment anyways. Or, I mean, I just add it to my project list. But, so, I don't know if I'm going to have time to test both of them today, because my husband's out right now. The elections are Tuesday, and he's campaigning. And fingers crossed he makes it on the school board. Hopefully we'll find out soon. But, so I have a little bit of free time. So the first one I'm going to test out is the one I'm most confident in, and that is the Scrappy Granny Square. This is a free pattern from Nitty Natty. It's just a basic granny square pattern. I just wanted to have it printed out, so it makes sure I do the same thing for every granny square, because I mean, there are variations. Some people put a space between the cluster blocks, some people put like 2 spaces in the corner, and some do 3, and all that kind of thing. And so I just want to have one pattern that I'm following for all the granny squares, so they all look the same. So that's what this is. In her pattern, she only uses 8 to 10 grams of a fingering weight yarn. I'm planning on using the whole 20 grams, or as much as I possibly can. So what I have done is I've taken a mini skein from the yarn club that I use, because it's the same base. And so I made sure to get one that was the same base from one of the previous ones that I decided not to use with the main skein. And I do have another plan for this, so I'm not going to leave this forever as a granny square, but I thought it would be good to take this, see how long it takes me to wind it into a ball and to make the granny square, and then also how many rounds of the granny square I can do without cutting it too close, because I don't want to have done like 10 granny squares and on the 11th one I'm just short of being able to make that same number of rounds, because that would be ridiculous. So so this is an experiment to see about the time and also about how many rounds, and just get that all prepared so that December 1st I can knock that out. And I'm hoping that this is one that crochet generally goes quicker than knitting in my experience. And so I just want to hopefully be able to stay caught up with this Advent. I know I can't stay caught up with all of the Advents I have, but I'm hopeful for this one. The other thing I want to test is I have 2 different crochet hooks. This is a Tulip Amour, and I really like this one. It's a really smooth join. This one is a Clover, and this used to be my favorite go-to crochet hook. It's more ergonomic, and I do have some flare-ups of carpal tunnel. And the reason I don't use this one as often is because I got a full set of this, so I have them in all sizes, so I tend to use this more often. But so I wanted to do a couple rounds with both of them to see which one's going to be more comfortable, and then just stick that one in a project bag. So I'm going to see if I can get it set up so this is turned around and I can maybe do like a time-lapse video. Hey, no, none of that. Oh, the babies are now wild out on the roam, and so Georgie and Gracie get territorial, and Georgie doesn't like anyone to be close to him unless it's on his terms, and Gracie just is territorial. And so yeah, so it's fun times in this house. But anyways, So I'm going to see if I can do a time lapse for this and see how long it takes. So I will be back at the end to figure that out. Bye, guys. Okay, I'm back and I am done. So, according to the timer, it took me 1 hour and 45 minutes from winding it up. So from basically unwinding the skein to finishing what I have. I do think I ran into a few snafus, like the skein getting a little bit knotted, and that took a while to get out. So if I were to use my Swift and my ball winder, that would probably cut down, I'd probably say about 10 minutes. Or even just 5. And then also I had to go take back a section to make it because it wasn't going to make it for another full round. So this is the finished my finished granny square. I should have done a brighter color one because it's, or at least not worn gray, but anyways. So this measures 8 inches square. So I should have a small, like, lap blanket size by the end. I think this is a 24-day advent with a full skein. So, I may either, make one more out of the full size skein and do it a 5x5. So 8 times 5 is 40 inches, so it would be a 40-inch square. Or I might take off 20 grams from the Christmas skein that is separate from the Advent, and then use the full skein to do a border all around to add a little bit of extra length. Or I might just do 4x6, which would measure 32 inches by 48, which might be enough, especially if I use the full skein to then add more border. So we will see when I get towards the end how I'm feeling about the length. But I am happy. I think that as I do them, I can get it down to maybe an hour and a half. And so this is how much I had left over at the end. I don't have a precision scale. It is on my Amazon shopping cart. Because I hope that this is enough to be able to make a Battenberg square. And then I will be able to have like a little Battenberg square and a granny square. But the granny square is the main priority for this Advent. So that is good to know for that. Okay, I did one more experiment with the granny square. And what I did was I went to the other end to make a little Battenberg square, and I found out I am just like, I don't know, 7 stitches too short. Oops, there it goes. 7 stitches too short from being able to make a Battenberg square. Like, that's where the two are connected, unfortunately. So I'm kind of trying to decide, do I want to go down one hook size? So I was crocheting with a 3.25 millimeter hook for the granny square, do I want to go down to a 3mm hook, which is the size that I use for the Battenberg square? And then I would probably have enough yarn to make the Battenberg square, but I don't know how much smaller it would make the granny square. And so that's kind of my debate now. I might get another mini that is from the same dyer and see a size comparison if I make it with the 3mm hook, just to see how much smaller that would be, because I really don't want to lose much or any of the size, because I think it's already on the verge of being too small. And so yeah, I might do that experiment, or I might just, like, you know, chop it up to a loss that I'm not going to be able to get a little Battenberg square out of it also. And just have this as a little advent project, or yeah, we'll see. And also we'll see if having the precision scale will help, because, you know, it's always possible that some mini skeins are a little bit bigger than others, which, I mean, even a yard could make a difference in this situation. So all those kind of things will help me. So I'm definitely going to order that scale. And yeah, we'll see what happens with this. It didn't take that long to make it, so making another one to figure out this experiment will be like 2 hours of my life. It's not a big deal. So, yeah, that's where that is. I will let you guys know what happens later. Bye. The one I haven't received yet, and I haven't even received word of shipping, so I'm getting a little nervous, is the Canon hand-dyed gradient. This one is a fade, and it's based off of A Court of Thorn and Roses, but it hasn't shipped yet. And I have this pattern that was just released like 2 weeks ago from Helen Stewart, and it's called the Anthology Throw, and it is her Advent pattern for this year. And I think that this will look really nice as a gradient, or as a fade, to go from one color and then work its way out. So I still need to order the needles from this one, and I need the yarn to arrive for it, but that will be the third project that, like, if I have time that day, this is what I will work on. So my priorities will be the granny square, and then the Radvent square. And then if I have time, work on this. Stop. I did make another purchase, and this is from a lady on Etsy, not Etsy, Ravelry. And she just uses some of her scraps to make like 5-gram little mini skeins. And I have an advent calendar that I never know what to put into it, because the squares are just a little too small for a lot of my uses. And so I bought a pack from her. There are 34 minis in here, and I'll only need 24 or something like that. But so what I'm going to do is ask my husband to randomly select ones that he likes and to put them in there. And I'm hoping this will fit. And he may have just gotten home, so I may have to stop filming. But what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to just make one little Battenberg square a day. And these take very much it's 3 rounds. It takes no time to do. And yeah, I just thought that that would be a fun way to use that little one. And these are just, I mean, all kinds of different little minis. The ones that don't get chosen, I'll just put into my scrap bin. And yeah, okay, I'm going to pause this here, see if he's home, and then pick up once he falls back asleep. So, Okay, I'm back. It's been like an hour and a half. I ate off my lipstick. Dinner was very good though. And my husband is now asleep in front of the TV. So I'm here to finish my episode. Which, by the way, I just remembered, this is my 200th video. Not my 200th Flosstube, because I do things like Vlogmas and that takes up videos. But it is my 200th video. Right now, it says I have 199 videos. So, actually, technically, I think this is 201 because I lost my very first Flosstube, which still makes me a bit sad. But I found the book that the dogs have been tearing up, those little monsters. They are also asleep on the couch with my husband. But this is from my 2021 tutor planner. I stopped using it, I guess, in May. So, yep, I just let them have at it and play with it. It makes them happy. So, continuing. I was talking about the tiny little skeins. I'm worried that these might actually be too big to fit into those little holes. They're still with my Christmas decorations, so I don't have them out yet, but I'm hoping they'll be able to fit, that my husband will be able to squeeze them in there. And then I'll be able to make those Battenberg squares. I think this looks like, I know that we both buy from the same Canadian. That's actually how I found her page, is we both buy from Bluebird Yarns and Storyweaver Yarns. And this looks a lot like one of the ones that I have from Storyweaver. Oh, I think that one was a mini skein. Anyways, it looks really familiar to me. It's so pretty though. But anyways, because there is 34 in here, and so, I mean, some of them have sparkles. I won't know what my husband picks and puts in them. So it'll still be like a little surprise. And it'll be like an easy advent to keep up with. Each little square takes 15 minutes maybe. And it will use that advent, which I've had trouble in the last couple of years trying to figure out what to put into the little holes. Anyways, so because I told her that my plan for it, she included a nice little extra treat, which was way beyond generous. So an English breakfast tea, a green tea, a small little set of stitch markers, a little stocking button. That's so cute. And then this is so cute. It's a progress keeper, but it's actually like a jingle bell. There's like a little flower painted on it. It is so cute. Anyways, that was definitely above and beyond what she even needed to do. It was a nice little surprise. And I actually need to send her a snail mail letter. And so I wanted to do that at the same time that I mailed the Advent, no, not Advent, ornament. But I don't have that completed yet, so I might need to just mail her sooner. Anyways, so that was really generous of her. The other Advent that I ordered that I haven't even received shipping information on is my stitch marker one. However, I did receive a card in the mail from them. They sent this out the 27th of October. And They did this last year too, and the year before, I think. And it's a cute little card. Merry Christmas. And inside they have a whole little write-up that they do. It's very sweet. They definitely don't need to do that. And they included a little progress keeper, and it's a super cute little penguin. So now that I've shown you guys this, I can put it on a project, but I didn't want to do that until I showed you guys. I'm looking forward to this actually getting mailed because we're getting in on the the Advents needing to be here. The candle one has shipped, and I believe it's supposed to be here Monday, maybe Saturday. Anyways, I'm really excited for that. I did order, excuse me, sorry, 1 tea Advent from Plum Deluxe. I ordered their herbal tea one, or they call it non-caffeine, but they always put green tea in there, which frustrates me because green tea is not herbal tea. And sometimes they put decaf black, and again, that's not herbal, it's decaf black. So that's always a little bit frustrating. Herbal is herbal. But I called David's Tea and found out that their herbal tea for this year is the exact same one as last year, which was also disappointing. I really did enjoy that David's Tea one, but I wasn't going to order the same exact Advent, like in the same packaging and everything. So I have the Advent tea I made for my family and the Plum Deluxe one. So that's a bit more reasonable in terms of tea consumption during the day. I think last year I had 3 or 4. I had 4. Last year I had 4 tea Advents, and that was way too many. So yes, I'm looking forward to that. We still have to go to the store. Because we've been sick, we haven't been out, and my husband's been campaigning. So I'm hoping this weekend we'll go to the World Market, and I'll be able to get the jam Advent, a chocolate Advent, and we'll see if any other Advents jump out at me while we're there. I hope to take a little video and do an upload showing you various Advents you can find in stores. So I hope to be able to film that this weekend and get that edited and uploaded next week. I did get my 2 sock skeins, and so I'll show you them both. Okay, the first one is Woolens and Nosh 2022 Advent Skein. It says, "Thank you so much for including Woolens and Nosh in your annual Advent tradition. This is your Advent, and you're allowed to work it up however you want. Knit or crochet all in one sitting, or take your time and work a strip a day. Knit it for your birthday, a winter holiday, or just because. Make socks, mittens, a scarf, or whatever project is calling to you. I hope you are delighted with this special skein and that it helps you make some space for the joy of creating. Each of the 24 colors are separated by a 1 round stripe, the same color as your mini skein. So if you would like to keep the next color a surprise, stop working when you come to the mini skein color." Which is actually why I ordered this after I'd already ordered. So this was the second one I had ordered. So what's really cool about this one is it comes already caked up. And it's in this bag, which has the little thing in it. And I think the bag is so cute. I didn't realize it came in a little canvas bag. Anyways, I could totally peek and cheat and look in there, but I haven't. I'm really proud of myself for that. So it has two ends coming out, and this is where you will be starting, or I'll be starting. We do know what the color will look like in between. I must have ordered an extra mini skein, which I am not upset about because usually a mini skein doesn't always have enough for a cuff, heel, and toe, but having an extra one means that I should have plenty. And it's not showing super clearly, but this is like a deep purple color, which I think is interesting. Not what I was expecting. I was honestly expecting like a bare undyed, or like a white, cream, maybe even black. But so I'm really excited about this. I am planning on getting these two caked up and to cast on the cuff before the end of the month, so that these are ready to do a stripe a day. The pattern I am planning on doing for this one is called the Twizzler Socks by the Tangled Knitter. And this pattern was made specifically for self-striping. And it's basically a vanilla sock with a small twist. So it should be easy enough to memorize, to do quickly, and also be able to stop when I get to the stripe. So I'm really looking forward to that and to getting these cast on. So that's the first one. The second one, which is actually the first one I bought, but it arrived second, is from Freckled Whimsy, which is the company I do the self-striping Harry Potter club with. Okay. So it's wrapped in black, and it's 250-gram skeins, wrapped in paper. 250-gram skeins plus a 20-gram mini. The skeins are twisted as one. And it says, no peeking, do not open until December 1st. Although I've got a small rip in my bag. Anyways, I am going to be looking at this before December 1st because I want to get the cuffs cast on, so I need to take the mini skein that's in here. Also because my memory doesn't tend to hold, doesn't really tend to hold memories of like things like this. I'm probably going to skein up, wind it into the two cakes and then wrap it back up in the paper. But that way it'll be more of a surprise than if I actually see the whole sequence of 24 stripes on December 1st. So I will probably be doing that sooner rather than later, so that it's just, I'll forget about it sooner. So, and this came with a little card that says, welcome to Advent 2022. And it just says that they're twisted together, don't peek, but if you do, post only in a grayscale picture, don't post the color. Not all skeins will start at the same color, which is interesting. I would have thought that all of them would have started at the same place, but I guess not. When you cake them, just be sure to start with the same color, with the same end for both of the socks. And it says you may end up having to do more than one stripe per day, depending on your size. So basically that's all that's saying. I'm only going to do one stripe a day, and I'm not counting on having the socks done by Christmas. but I don't want to try to figure out how much I'd have to do to finish them. I'm just going to try to take it easier, be less hard on myself. The pattern that I am going to be using for these is for the Bakery Bears, and it's called the Dandelion Socks. That's what it looks like. And this was made for self-striping. And there's a little repeat that you do. I guess it's kind of like a little eyelet or something. And you do that at the start of every color change round. Sorry, that's why I chose to do this pattern with this particular skein, because the other one has that stripe in between each day, and so I didn't think that would work as well with this pattern. So that's what I will be doing. I think that covers all of the patterns. I'm just flipping through my little book here real quick. I do have this one, which is from the Platinum collection of the Bakery Bears. I'm thinking of using this one with the Harry Potter advent from a few years ago. This only takes less than 10 grams of each color. Oh, excuse me, which is what I have. So, yeah, but I'm probably not going to do that this Christmas. And then there's this other pattern, I'll put a picture of it, called the Quadrophenia. And I'm thinking about doing that one with a different Harry Potter yarn advent from about 3 or 4 years ago that I didn't like the pattern I was using with it, so I've never actually done it. Again, I don't know if I will do that this year. We may see. We may see how much extra time I have. My sister and I are planning on exchanging a diamond painting and making it like an advent. So I need to order the one for her and get that all done, but yeah. Sorry, excuse me. This is a long video. Anyways, I do have a few knitting whips to show, and then we will talk about plans for the rest of the month. Okay, my husband's birthday is the 19th, so that's in 9 days. I started a sock for him, and this is called the Cozy House Socks, the Floofy House Socks. This is the pattern in pink. I'm doing his in red. This is a DK weight sock, so it's thicker, less stitches, should go much faster is my hope. I've only worked on this one day, and I finished the cuff. So I'm hoping I can do like the leg in one day, the heel, and then maybe the heel and foot in 2 days, and then the toe in another, and that I can then actually do both socks. This is what I'll be using for the toe and the heel. Anyways, it's like half the amount of stitches as I normally do, so it's going much faster. I'm using these Cubics needles, so they're shaped like a square, like a cube, and it's got this really flimsy cord, which is actually working really well for magic loop and this type of pattern. I had tried to use this for the Stephen West Mystery, this same kind of cord, and it was too flimsy for that project, but it's working really great for these socks. So I have another project that I'm gonna try to use this on. I have a 60-inch cable, so that's like blanket size, So I'm going to, the quadrophenia actually that I mentioned a few minutes ago, I'm hoping to maybe try that on that, and then I won't need to buy another set of needles. I have like a half a dozen needles in my Amazon cart right now, which is just outrageously expensive. I mean, it's like almost $100 in needles or something. I don't know. Some of them are like $15 each. And so, I mean, maybe it's closer to 75, but either way, I don't want to spend that much just on knitting needles. So, yeah, I've gone through my stash and some things I just don't have. So I need to make that purchase because there's a few things for the dogs in my cart that I need to get. But I've just been trying to narrow down the needles for what I need for Advent, which brings me to the next thing I wanted to talk about is I have 2 pairs of socks that are on needles that I would want to use for the Advent socks. So I don't have to order more needles. I won't be able to finish the pair, but if I could just get one sock off for each one, then that will free up the needle. So as part of like my plans for the rest of this month, I want to finish the prairie sock, the first one, and this is what it looks like, so that I can take this needle and use it. And then I also need to finish the first of my pumpkin juice sock. It's called the Pink Fizz sock, but the yarn is called pumpkin juice. And this is what that looks like. Oops, actually, I think this is where it was last time I showed you guys, so I've done like a repeat or 2. So I need to finish the first sock of this one as well, so that I can also use this needle, because I need a lot more sock needles than normal, because I'll be starting like 4 individual socks at the same time. And I've recently discovered that going down a pattern size but up a needle size is a better fit for my foot. And so I have way less way less needles in that needle size than I do in what I was doing previously. So, yeah, if I could get these 2 off my needles, I will not need to order 2 more sock needles. So that's the plan with that. I really hope to finish both of those this month. I won't get their mates done, but I will hopefully get them done. I also really want to finish my previous 2 Advent socks. This one I've shared recently. I'm at the heel, so I just need to force myself to do the heel. I do not know why, but I always get stopped at the heel. I don't like knitting heels, and that's always my stumbling block. I've discovered I don't like doing 2 at a time, so I will not be using those needles for either of these projects. And then this is from last year's. And so I'm on the heel on one of them, and I'm almost done with the foot on the other. And so I want to finish these. I'm giving these ones to my husband, I believe was the plan. So I need to finish them. Because I really want all previous Advent socks to be finished before I start with the 2 more. And that means I need to finish them this month. I had hoped to finish my Halloween socks, and I did finish the leg, but I got stalled out again on the cuff. So this is where I was the last time I showed you guys. I finished the leg and I started the heel flap, and that's as far as I got. That's the heel toe do-si-do socks from K. Litton. So that's all my whips and my advent plans. The only other kind of plan I have in terms of knitting for this month is I want to make my husband a hat. I have never knit a hat before. They intimidate me. I know it's a lot of people's beginners starting projects, but they intimidate me more than socks. I think probably because everyone says you have to do DPNs at the crayon, and I hate DPNs so much. So the Bakery Bears had this pattern in their Platinum collection, and I thought this was a good hat design for my husband. I do not know that I can finish this in a week, but I have 2 yarns pulled out, and I'm trying to decide which one to use. So this one or this one, which is one I was supposed to use for socks for him, but it doesn't have nylon in it, and so I didn't want to. So I'm leaning towards this, as he picked this color out in the store, and so that's what I'm kind of leaning towards. But I pulled out the needles, so maybe I'll try to get this cast on while editing this video. But what I'll actually probably end up doing while editing this video is do my World Cup spread. So I have been using my bullet journal. I made the spread for November. Apparently I spilled something on this. That's no longer a white little thing. Anyways, so I did a November overview page. Then I've done a November to-do list, and then tracking my knitting and cross stitch. Any yarn projects are in orange, cross stitches in green, sewing will be in pink. And then I have not updated this one since I made it, but this is my weekly spread. And I've already discovered a few things that I will be changing in the next week's spread, which is why I wanted to start experimenting with it November and December, so I could get it all sorted out for when I do bullet journaling again in the new year. I had found this, which is where I tracked like the last World Cup or something. Was the last World? No, Euros 2020. And so I'm just going to put the World Cup one in this journal. And I'm just going to follow the exact same setup that I did for the Euros. So I had this page which had all the countries participating, and I was crossing them off when they were eliminated. It looks like I probably stopped watching or updating this when Germany got eliminated. Because, so each group had their own page. I kept track of the scores, the wins, the losses, the draws, the points. My predictions of the standings in the group and how they actually finished. So I did that throughout the whole group stages. And then I was updating the round of 16. And it looks like around the time Germany was eliminated, I stopped really updating. So that's what it turned out looking like. So yeah, I'm gonna just follow this same outline and make up the one for the World Cup. Oh, sorry. That starts the 20th. And so I really want to get the spread done so that it's not hanging over me. I can cross that off my to-do list. And that seems like something that would be pretty easy to do while editing this video. That's going to take forever. So I'm going to stop rambling now so that I could start getting this edited. My new phone is supposed to come tomorrow, so that's probably going to eat up some of my time, but I really want to just get this taken care of. So without further ado, I am going to stop talking, and I will catch up with you guys really soon, hopefully in just a week. Bye. I forgot to say something. So while I was sick, I was drinking a ton of tea, and I discovered a new flavor I wanted to recommend because this is a limited time only tea. And that is Cranberry Harvest from Bigelow. It's only available in the fall, then it's going to go away. So I've been drinking this with a ton of lemon juice and then some sugar, and it is my new obsession. I went to the store and I bought 5 boxes of this because I know it's limited time only, and then it's going to go away, and then I'm going to be bummed out because my new favorite tea is not here anymore. So I just thought I would pass that recommendation on if anyone likes cranberry flavored things or tart sour things. If you add some lemon juice, it's really good. And that's actually, it's what's in my tea mug right now, and it's so good. So just thought I would pass that along. I'm gonna do editing now. Bye guys. It's awake playtime, so everything's pretty wild, including the big dogs wanting attention. This is Jamie. Jamie, drop it. Drop it. Thank you. Meg, Josie, Beth. I think Meg is climbing over chairs. Sammy, that's a big... Oh, there's Rosie. Who are you resting with? Is this Josie? I think so. Yep, Josie. So that must have been Teddy a little bit ago. There's Beth for sure. Oh, Teddy. Teddy has a toy. That's Amy, and that's definitely Meg. There we go. And James wants the ball.